Hello everyone, welcome to Narain's Life with MS. This is Narain and it's time for a Soulful Saturday. And boy, do I have a Soulful Saturday for you because one of the things that I am noticing, considering it is past mid February, and funnily enough, the Indian Meteorological Department has said that Bangalore, where I actually currently live, is going to experience not only a hotter summer, but it is also going to experience an earlier summer. So temperatures are already heating up, and apart from that, water has already started going into short supply, which means that, and considering that summer hasn't even started technically, that is going to be a big thing. So let's make Soulful Saturday about all of these things because a lot of these um, parts and pieces are something that actually impacts my life and probably a lot of people's lives, of course, considering there's water involved, temperature, and all of those things. But it definitely impacts me in a way because as an MS patient, I am a little sensitive to temperature. I while We all know what ended up happening in the United States when I was there, um, and had a lot of trouble walking in the cold weather. I also have a tendency to overheat and definitely almost become incapacitated once the heat reaches a certain level, when it just becomes a little too hot to be outside. So that is one thing that I did want to talk about, because one thing I will definitely ask is, how do you stay cool in the summer? Now, Bangalore, being the place that it is, thankfully does not go overboard in terms of the heat or the cold. So it is really one of the, I would say personally, the best places to live, at least for me, because everything is much more comfortable over here. But the one thing that I have also noticed in the history, in at least my history, is that my tolerance for both heat and cold has reduced dramatically over the years. And one thing that actually becomes very important to me, and actually becomes something that I really need to have with me at all times, is of course water. Both water in terms of drinking, consuming it, but also water so that I can cool my body off, water that I can use to bathe, water that I can use to shower. And considering that, one of the things that I mentioned earlier in this video is that Bangalore is going to be facing a water shortage. That definitely puts me in a bit of a pickle because, as you know, one thing that I always aim to do is to use water a little more smartly. And I have gotten to a point where I use very limited water when I bathe. But even then, knowing that that might not be enough does actually make me think that there I should do something else. I should do something more, because saying that I have a passion for sustainability is really not enough to you know as a is not enough as a talking point. I mean, there has to be a little more action. And considering that my action, or at least whatever I've done, does not really go outside of my own personal um, work or my own personal impact, definitely there is something that I can do to improve other improve at least the availability of water in my community, the ability to withstand this summer, which is going to be, considering it's starting a little early, maybe a little bit longer, and also definitely warmer. But then, talking about warmer, what are some ways that I can actually keep cool? As you know, I'm not one to generally use my air conditioner most of the time, and considering that the air conditioner also happens to be something that I am a little sensitive to as well. So the AC in my room on next to never turns on. What should I do in that situation? And this, I am not only looking for answers in terms of you know things that can make life easier for me, but definitely make life easier for much larger group, for a much larger population. And even when we are discussing um, you know this entire uh, undertaking, this is probably going to be maybe at a family level, maybe at a community level, or maybe the furthest it can go is maybe at a city-wide level. But even when we are talking a city-wide level, Bangalore is actually going to have probably one of the more milder summers in comparison to the rest of this country. So yes, I mean, definitely looking for your ideas on how you look to saving water, how you look to um, collecting and storing water that can be used for other purposes. One of the things that definitely needs to happen with the water is to be able to reuse it as much as possible, uh, so that considering we are definitely going to be in a shortage, it is going to be the one thing that can at least help keep us sane to some extent. Because definitely that one of the things I definitely see is that when we are talking about water, when we are talking about water wars as they go on, or even conflicts regarding water, um, you know when I look at where I live, when I look at my community, I can see that it that conflict might actually start from a lot closer than what was originally conceived as being something between nations. It's more like it might even be something that happens within you know a much smaller system, a much smaller something like a community even. So, yes, please do share your thoughts. Please do share your insights. Please do share your experiences as to how you are looking to save water. And I know that this Soulful Saturday is definitely something that, does not sound, as positive as other Soulful Saturdays have. But really, it is more of a thought to look for the actual soulful purpose for this entire YouTube channel, for really thinking of ways to make life just a little bit better, not only for people like me, people who are uh, with disabilities, or people who um, you know have certain issues, but also for a much larger group, right? People living here, people who might not have the mobility issues that I might have, but will definitely suffer from the fact that there is something that is completely lacking, and that is, of course, water. and that too during a time where water is definitely needed the most, which is summer. So, yes, please do share your thoughts, please do share your insights. Let's get a conversation started. And with that said, I do want to wish you good night. This has been Narain's Life with MS. My name is Narain, and I do wish you have sweet dreams. And of course, I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.